That don't look crazy to me. That don't look crazy to me. That don't look crazy to me. I'm telling the ex the dummy, do he get in there? Skinny is a abs a bit, waist a bit, raises a bronze a bit. Let the nigga beat him up, had a gun on him, everything, do not beat him up, drop him, pick him up, beat him up again. Niggas had to everybody know that I'm dead. I mean, no, don't worry against me for what? Like, I know, dog. Moss never even talked around us, dog. He talking all this cool gangster shit. That nigga never even talked. He sat back because he didn't come from where we came from. He came down there and got the game from us, and then went racked up there and became tougher than them niggas. Come on, Moss. You came down there with us. You got tough like us, and then you went back up there and was tougher than them. That's what happened.
Shady was born and raised on 15th and York. It was all he knew. Trendsetters/risk takers wasn't a gang or even a clique. It was more of a lifestyle, a movement. It had been something he and his people stood on and lived by. It was basically what was left of his day one childhood friends that weren't dead and had either been lucky enough to get out of the streets or were now doing time in prison, including Tupi, his childhood friend from 15th and York who's serving 3 life sentences for the murders of C Street or Trap Street, 18th and Cumberland, members he'd killed during their war, in the mid-2000s. Shady Black is the younger brother of Larry, L.A., Anderson, obviously also from 15th and York. L.A. was best friends with young Chris from the Young Guns.
I remember always telling L.A.
Getting chased from the freaks, hot day, nice outfit, ladies on the feet, mom's night shift, come over when the neighbors go to sleep, and we can do it all till it's time to school tomorrow.
Larry was killed by Spade-O, a member of the formerly popular rap group Major Figures who reps Erie Avenue after Larry punched Spade-O at the Susquehanna Festival in North Philadelphia. Spade-O and another shooter murdered Larry later that night. It's sad that after Larry died, Shady kind of lost his mind and his way. He was always hothead, but he became a firecracker, shooting any and everyone from York Street all the way to Nicetown. It had gotten so bad that he had made a plan to kill the brother of young Chris, Larry's friend, because he wanted Chris to feel the way he'd felt losing his brother. It had got to the point where on the Young Guns' first album, the track Life We Chose was about the entire situation of Larry's death, Shady's mindset and actions, and how Shady and Larry's mom reacted. The entire song recounted it, but in the third verse, Chris paints a detailed view. He raps.
Cause out every other till they took a nigga brother. Lay you like a brother, so I try to take your brother in. He be on some other shit. I be trying to tell him, man, how you feel. He had intentions on killing my big brother just to let me see how he feel. That boy crazy, he got people for real. He gon' wind up laying somewhere peaceful for real.
Fast forward, a decade plus later. After a few prison stints, homicide investigations, mental meltdowns and even leaving the streets behind to work legal jobs at fast food restaurants, and a hospital. It's 2015 now and there were whispers that Shady and a few friends had hit a major lick and it would change things for Shady immediately. Allegedly they'd been in Cali on the business of buying pounds of marijuana, for which they'd built a network back in Philadelphia. Plans changed, and a plug was tied up and disappeared. Many believe they had gotten around $1 million from the hit. Either way, he had packed up and moved to Cali. He would buy a home back in Philadelphia. He'd fly to the islands and begin to flood his younger homies back in North Philadelphia with pounds of weed. Also around 2015, Shady had clicked up with A.R. Ab through his friendship with A.R. Ab's brother Leek Moss. They were close, Shady had even been on the front line for OBH when they went to war with Dean. Dean has ties to Meek Mill and Dream Chasers. This was around the time Meek and Ab's rap feud was escalating. One day, Shady had pulled up on Wingahawking Avenue in East Town and confronted Dean before punching him in the mouth. Dean ran off while threatening to kill Shady. Shady also shot Leak Moss by accident while they'd been doing a drive-by hit on Dean after getting his location.
We all knew for sure. We all knew for sure, right? Dean tapped this shit out of motherfucking air. Shit red as shit. This shit was perfect and red. It wasn't like black or nothing. It was red as shit. He scuffed him up. Shoe shiny. Right quick. Got out of there. Y'all see when they kicking on that man door, they mad as shit. Hey, fucked him up. It was good here. Alright, look, ask him this. If it's 3 of y'all in the store, how the fuck he get out the store? He was in there. How he get out the store, bro? It wasn't no help. How he get out the store? Listen, Dean called me the next day and said, "Where you at, bitch?" I'm gonna piss the fuck off, man. Oh, he was like, "Where you at, bitch?" I'm like, "I'm gonna beat you the fuck up, nigga, when I catch you, man." He's like, I see you, come on. Tell your little protege come from behind the wall. I was like, he had me lying. I ain't gonna lie, I swear, yo. He'll tell y'all. If he's feeling good one day and he ain't on no nut shit, he'll tell y'all. Wherever he was at, I did not know. He knew every fucking move I was making.
Everything was alright until Ab had begun to bring Shady around. Shady was actually a younger guy from the same neighborhood as Shady. The thing was that Shady had been in the same kind of iffy situation, and it was said he had killed his best friend, who also was from 15th and York. Shady didn't trust Shady and he didn't want him in his presence. It eventually led to Shady and OBH's split and feud. Shady had made a mistake by going on a rant on the internet. He had begun dissing many OBH members on Instagram and YouTube.
I know, dog. Moss never even talked around us, dog. He talking all this cool gangster shit. That nigga never even talked. He sat back because he didn't come from where we came from. He came down there and got the game from us, and then went racked up there and became tougher than them niggas. Come on, Moss. You came down there with us. You got tough like us, and then you went back up there and was tougher than them.
You talking cash money.
That's what happened. I mean, why y'all keep thinking, oh, this dude, the fuck is these dudes putting on the planet? Do you know me? Do you know who I am to say that? Who the fuck is these dudes putting on the planet? He wasn't never real. He wasn't never real 5 years ago. You can't be real 5 years ago and be fake today, okay? Okay? People was ignorant to who you really were 5 years ago, nigga. Know what I mean? Fuck you talking about? Quiet as shit. We never called him Lick. We called him Ahmed. Ahmed. That's my man, Ahmed. He sat back and he watched me and P. Dot. And he thought he was going to be like Dot. And he ended up being like me. Alright? So this is why I could talk to Lick how I talk to him. Because them niggas know. I gave you your name, Busy. Ahmed. There you go.
Just a side note. Leak Moss. He got some good music out right now. Go check it out. And Trendsetta Shady, he can really rap. Like, he probably better than the whole OBH, including AR. But let me get back to the reaction.
Not your name, you gangster though. You flow like me and Rookie. Stop playing, dog. You just a mix between me and Rookie. That's it. That's it, shit. Only thing I see. I'm right here. Come get me. Here I go. I'm here. I'm right here. I can do that shit. What you gonna do? Turn your camera around on me when I pop up? Come on, bro. I was little. Believe that shit, but don't believe that weird tight shit, man. They called Benny Seal last night. I'm done with it, bro. Oh, you called Denny's last night, bro. Bro, on live, bro. They comment on A shit, bro. You comment on Ab shit. You comment on Ab shit, man. We got some beef. We got what the fuck you calling Benny Seal for? What the fuck with BEC gotta do with anything? That's my brother, Skinny. Oh, my fault, bro. That's one thing I don't understand, man, how another Muslim could just get up and get tarnished another Muslim, man. They said I eat cereal with water.
What he wasn't prepared for was that OBH would hit him where it hurt. Shady had also brought in one of his young protege and homies to OBH when they had clicked. Robert Robbie Johnson. He had built a bond with the whole OBH through Shady. But with the gang furious over Shady putting their business out and looking side-eye at Robbie, not knowing if he was playing both sides, Ab would make the decision to put the contract on his life. It was the end of 2017 and Robbie believed he was supposed to drop some meth off with one of the members, Taz. After he passed the meth off, they would exchange words and Robbie wouldn't even see it coming. He'd been gunned down. He was slimed out by OBH. Not too long after, OBH would release a diss track, Blood Brothers. It had come out that in the song, during AR Ab's verse he'd reference Robbie's murder a few times.
I hear you talking from a distance, niggas is bitches. Come close when you can whisper, see if it's different. I ain't gotta say what I'm going to do.
Just a side note. AR-Ab did a lot of self-snitching. I don't know how these people, when they go into the booth, they even think like this is cool, but they think people not gonna hear it. Or I guess it's for clout, wanting to be seen. It just don't make no sense. Like, I don't see how people think this is logic. I wonder if they say it for their homies to get clout, or I don't get it. I just don't get it. What y'all think about self-snitching in the comments? Do you feel like they're taking too far? Do you feel like if you did it, you should talk about it? Let me know in the comments.
Did a lot. I've been a threat, but I ain't into that internet. You can talk with disrespect, I interject. I'm here. Niggas try me anywhere, be a body there. Sick of hearing about your beats, nobody cares. Why more people ain't dead if nobody's scared? I'm purple hearted, I done been a war. You kill one of mine, I kill 10 of yours. Tell my brother if you spot him, get brutal with him. My only problem is deciding to shoot at the sun. Is that the same old story you use it again? Don't give a fuck if you did, you shoot him again. I watch Instagram, I seen what you said, homie. Now I'ma fill your whole page with your dead homie. I had the whole city scared to stay near, homie. They call Taz and tell him bring that nigga head to me. They on the gram talking murder, I was no good. Now I declare martial law on your whole hood. I heard the corny mixtape, did it go up? My plug passed me a brick with the no look. Some blazing the day, you know I jumped through the night. Y'all was my niggas for life. I put a hit on my life. Y'all confusing the fans, they think I came here to fight. They don't know I broke up with the fam before that big night. They don't know for much you on the gram taking your shots. And I never said nothing, I just ate it and watched. Leak guilty cause he ate it and debated the plot. I had the paper to drop, I had the patience to stop. They cut and dry, I'm a wetter nigga. Fuck them blood brothers, I'm a ghetto nigga. Straight from the mud in the kennel with it. My pups need the food, the kitties need the litter. My best friend Benji, I don't need you niggas. They criticize my moves cause I'm leaving niggas. I can't kill you with these hands I used to feed you with.
In 2019, OBH would go down in a federal racketeering case and that would essentially end the beef with AR Ab and Shady Black. But Leak Moss was still on the streets and the feud between the two of them would continue with words and songs exchanged back and forth. Eventually, in 2021 they would squash their beef and continue on their individual journeys in life.
It ain't take a lot for me to pick up the phone, but I know for us to get here, to be able to have a conversation civilly, and we ain't screaming, hoop and holler at each other one time, yesterday or today, for us to be able to converse with each other back and forth like this, I just know that for sure, I mean, we got a lot of growing to do as individuals. Like, as individuals, I promise you that we got a lot of growing to do as individuals.
Are you gonna eat all that?
I can promise you it won't be no attacks. Leak mind or leak emotional state or leak physical state for me is ain't can't be nothing but well with and positivity. You feel what I'm saying? See, motherfuckers want me to feel away. They want me to feel this way. Well, I did feel that way, and that shit was killing me. That shit was killing me. I did feel that way. That shit was killing me. This is what I'm doing. I'm letting it go. I'm moving on with my life. I don't want to keep rapping about this. I don't want to keep talking about this. I don't want to keep dealing with this. I don't want to do all that.
That's real, man. That's real, man, behavior right there.
Burnt out Johnny Mac D when he want to be. He made this shit happen.
Leak Moss still makes music and is enjoying his life with his family. The same can be said for Shady Black, as all seems to be good with him also.
Alright, that seems like that's the end of that. They just showing, clips now, pictures and everything. Gonna let the beat ride out. Thank everybody that said and watched this video with me. Please like, subscribe. Any comments, leave it in the comment section. Thank you for spending time with me. I'll check you out the next video. It's your boy Shetty. Peace out.